It sounds insane, I know, but what if I told you that everything you think you know about attracting a man is completely wrong? That the way most women chase, question, or try to control him actually pushes him away? Today, I'm going to reveal the subtle, surprising ways men actually want to be treated. Things so counterintuitive they almost feel wrong, but when done right, they make him want you more than ever. Men are wired in a way that often surprises women, and one of the most powerful ways to create deep attraction is surprisingly simple, yet counterintuitive: respecting his autonomy. This does not mean being cold, distant, or indifferent. It means allowing him to exist fully as himself, to make choices, and to feel capable without stepping in to control, guide, or correct him at every turn. Many women unintentionally create tension in relationships because they mistake care or interest for responsibility, believing that showing love means managing his life or trying to fix his problems. The truth is, the more you try to control him, even subtly, the more you erode his sense of self, and attraction begins to fade. Men want to feel needed in the way that is empowering rather than suffocating, and the way you communicate respect for his autonomy sends a message far stronger than words ever could. When you ask for his opinions, genuinely listen without judgment, and allow him space to make decisions, even decisions you might have done differently, you are telling him, "I see you, I trust you, and I value your independence." This creates a sense of partnership instead of control, and men are instinctively drawn to women who make them feel capable and trusted. Respecting autonomy also means giving him space to have his hobbies, friendships, and personal goals without resentment or insecurity creeping in. When a man feels that he can maintain his individuality while being close to you, he begins to associate you not just with emotional comfort, but with freedom and respect, which paradoxically intensifies attachment. Women often struggle here because society teaches them that closeness means constant presence or availability, yet the most magnetic women understand that presence is not the same as surrendering boundaries or control. Autonomy in a relationship does not equate to emotional distance. It is about balance. You can be affectionate, interested, and engaged while also maintaining your own life, your own opinions, and your own rhythm. The man who senses this balance feels a magnetic pull because subconsciously he recognizes that you are not trying to consume or change him. You are complementing him. Respecting autonomy also challenges the dynamic of neediness that can unintentionally arise in relationships. When a man feels responsible for your happiness, attraction often diminishes because it creates pressure and obligation. But when he feels trusted to be himself, free to act without micromanagement, attraction deepens and he wants to invest, not because he has to, but because he chooses to. This requires a subtle understanding of timing, patience, and self-confidence, allowing him to take the lead sometimes, giving him space when needed, and resisting the urge to fill every silence or solve every problem. The most magnetic women master this delicate dance of presence and space, involvement and independence, giving men the room to feel competent while remaining close, safe, and connected. Over time, the man who experiences this respect for his autonomy not only grows in admiration, but also begins to mirror the behavior, respecting your independence in return, creating a relationship where both parties feel fully alive and engaged. Respecting autonomy is not about stepping back entirely or losing your voice. It is about choosing carefully where to invest your energy, where to engage, and where to allow him the dignity of his own choices. And in doing so, you create a level of attraction and connection that is effortless, sustainable, and deeply magnetic. Men have an almost invisible language of effort and recognition that many women overlook, yet it is one of the most potent ways to deepen attraction and connection. While it may seem natural to notice only the big wins or outcomes, the truth is that men respond more powerfully to acknowledgement of the small, consistent efforts they make, even when the results are imperfect or incomplete. This doesn't mean praising mediocrity or lowering standards, but rather noticing the intention, the persistence, and the energy he puts in, because these are signals of commitment, care, and investment. For example, when he tries to help you with something even if he doesn't get it exactly right, or when he takes the initiative in small ways, sending a thoughtful message, offering a gesture of support, or taking responsibility for something minor. These moments carry immense emotional weight for him when they are recognized and appreciated. Too often, women focus only on outcomes, perfection, or whether things meet their own expectations, and in doing so, they inadvertently create a sense of inadequacy or frustration that chips away at attraction. Men want to feel that their contributions matter, that their effort is noticed and valued, and that the process is as important as the end result. When you express genuine gratitude for what he is trying to do, rather than criticizing what he hasn't done or comparing him to someone else, you are signaling that you see him, that you respect his attempts, and that his energy toward you is meaningful. This kind of acknowledgement doesn't require flowery language or constant compliments. It can be as simple as pausing to genuinely say, "I see that you tried, and it means a lot," or reflecting back the impact of his actions in a sincere way. Men instinctively feel safer and more motivated in relationships where their effort is noticed because it aligns with their desire to protect, provide, and contribute. When their actions are appreciated, it feeds their sense of purpose and pride, creating a natural desire to do more, not out of obligation, but out of genuine connection and affection. On the other hand, if their efforts are routinely overlooked, ignored, or minimized, it creates a slow erosion of motivation and emotional engagement, because no one wants to invest endlessly in something that feels invisible or undervalued. Valuing effort over results also shifts the focus from performance to intention, from pressure to presence, and from expectation to collaboration. It teaches men that the relationship is a space where they can be authentic, take initiative, make mistakes, and grow without fear of constant judgment or dismissal. This approach requires a conscious mindset shift because society often conditions women to reward outcomes rather than effort. But in doing so, women unintentionally make men feel that nothing they do is ever enough. When you break that pattern and celebrate effort, you create an emotional environment that is rare, magnetic, and deeply nurturing, where he feels seen, understood, and motivated to keep contributing, not to win your approval, but because being with you feels affirming and fulfilling. Over time, this consistent recognition of effort builds loyalty, attraction, and emotional safety, and men begin to mirror the behavior, valuing the effort you put into the relationship as well, creating a dynamic of mutual respect, appreciation, and growth. By noticing, acknowledging, and valuing his intentions and attempts, rather than just fixating on results, you tap into one of the deepest desires a man has: to feel effective, appreciated, and capable in the relationship, which naturally strengthens his commitment and draws him closer in ways that superficial praise or criticism never could. Men are naturally drawn to women who are intriguing, unpredictable, and complex, and this magnetism often comes from the subtle art of being mysterious rather than entirely predictable. This does not mean being deceptive, manipulative, or intentionally distant, but it does mean maintaining a sense of individuality, having a life that exists beyond his immediate presence, and avoiding the temptation to be completely transparent or entirely available at every moment. Many women unintentionally reduce attraction by oversharing, by always being immediately responsive, or by making their schedules, thoughts, and emotions entirely accessible, leaving little for a man to discover or wonder about. Men are wired to respond to challenge and curiosity, and when a woman demonstrates that she has her own passions, boundaries, and internal life, it sparks a psychological pull that goes beyond superficial charm. Mystery can be as simple as maintaining hobbies, having private moments, holding back a bit on every detail of your day, or allowing him to see only pieces of your inner world at a time, giving him the sense that there is depth to uncover. This creates anticipation and excitement, which in turn amplifies emotional engagement, because the mind naturally fills in gaps and starts to idealize the unknown in a way that predictability cannot replicate. Being mysterious also involves emotional nuance. It's about showing your feelings authentically, but not in a way that makes every reaction predictable. Instead of immediately mirroring every mood or constantly seeking validation, you allow your responses to emerge in a measured, thoughtful way, signaling that your attention and affection are conscious choices rather than automatic reactions. When a man senses that a woman's attention is something he earns through meaningful interaction rather than something taken for granted, he experiences a deeper pull, because this reflects self-respect, confidence, and independence. Mystery is also closely tied to autonomy and boundary setting, because it requires you to prioritize your own life, goals, and values, which naturally creates space for intrigue. The predictable pattern of total availability, constant agreement, or over-disclosure often leads to complacency and emotional flattening, where the relationship feels safe but lacks excitement, tension, and curiosity. In contrast, a woman who maintains a healthy level of unpredictability, who surprises him with her ideas, actions, or energy, creates a dynamic where he must pay attention, engage, and invest emotionally to keep up with her. This does not mean withholding affection or being cold. It means calibrating presence, attention, and engagement in a way that feels intentional and magnetic rather than reactive. It also encourages a man to show up, to communicate thoughtfully, and to participate actively in the relationship, because the sense of curiosity and discovery becomes a reward in itself. Mystery can also manifest in how you communicate, leaving space in conversations, allowing him to wonder about your opinions before revealing them fully, or creating moments where he has to tune in and engage his mind to connect with you. This subtle tension is not about playing games. It is about honoring your individuality while inviting him into your world on terms that maintain excitement and intrigue. Over time, men respond to this with increased interest, engagement, and emotional investment, because they experience you as a woman who is complex, self-possessed, and worth the effort to understand, rather than someone whose essence is immediately and fully available. By cultivating mystery, unpredictability, and a sense of personal depth, you tap into one of the most primal drivers of male attraction, creating a dynamic where he wants to be present, involved, and attentive, not because he is forced to, but because the relationship feels alive, stimulating, and endlessly engaging, which ultimately strengthens connection, desire, and long-term investment in ways that predictability can never achieve. Men are deeply attracted to women who can feel their emotions fully while maintaining an internal sense of stability, because this combination signals emotional strength, maturity, and self-respect, and it creates a sense of safety and admiration that men instinctively respond to. Emotional strength does not mean suppressing feelings, hiding vulnerability, or becoming distant. Rather, it means allowing yourself to experience sadness, frustration, joy, or longing without losing your center, without making your mood entirely dependent on his actions, and without reacting in a way that is purely reactive or performative. Many women mistakenly believe that showing emotions freely will make them more lovable, but uncontrolled emotional volatility or constant emotional outsourcing often creates stress and pushes men away, because it signals a lack of internal regulation. Conversely, a woman who demonstrates emotional sovereignty, who can feel deeply, reflect internally, and express herself clearly and thoughtfully, becomes magnetic, because men are drawn to someone who is present, real, and capable of managing herself, even in challenging situations. This does not require emotional perfection. It is not about never feeling upset or never showing frustration. Rather, it is about the ability to integrate your feelings internally before expressing them externally in a way that communicates authenticity, confidence, and self-possession. For instance, when something disappoints you, instead of immediately venting, blaming, or withdrawing, you might take a moment to process your emotions, understand what you are feeling and why, and then communicate your needs or perspective calmly and clearly. This shows a man that you are emotionally aware, that you respect yourself enough to manage your reactions, and that you are not entirely dependent on him to stabilize your emotional world. Emotional strength also manifests in the way you handle uncertainty, longing, or desire. Men often experience attraction through tension and contrast, and a woman who can feel these emotions fully without panicking, over-texting, or seeking constant reassurance signals that she is internally grounded and self-sufficient, which paradoxically increases his desire to be close. It is the balance between vulnerability and self-possession that creates magnetic polarity, showing that you are human, capable of love and connection, yet fully responsible for your own internal state. Men instinctively respect and gravitate toward women who demonstrate this kind of maturity because it removes pressure, reduces drama, and allows for a relationship that is emotionally rich without being chaotic. Emotional strength without coldness also communicates that your love, attention, and presence are conscious choices, not automatic or desperate attempts to gain validation. When a man sees that you can navigate your emotions while still being warm, engaged, and expressive, he feels both safe and challenged. Safe because you are stable and reliable, and challenged because your inner world is rich, independent, and fascinating. This encourages him to invest emotionally, communicate more thoughtfully, and show up in ways that align with genuine attraction and commitment, rather than obligation or fear of losing you. Over time, the consistent display of emotional strength creates a dynamic where he feels inspired to rise to the occasion, rather than be controlled or criticized, and he begins to mirror your emotional regulation, enhancing mutual respect, understanding, and connection. It fosters an environment where both partners can feel deeply, navigate conflict, experience longing, and maintain intimacy without losing themselves or each other. By mastering the art of showing emotional strength without being cold, a woman creates a magnetic presence that is compelling, safe, and deeply attractive because it combines the full spectrum of humanity, vulnerability, depth, warmth, and independence into a cohesive, irresistible whole that men cannot help but respond to with admiration, desire, and long-term engagement. Men are deeply influenced by the way a woman chooses to show trust, and one of the most magnetic ways to maintain attraction is by giving him confidence in his abilities and character rather than constantly testing or questioning him. Because men naturally respond to validation of their competence and integrity, trust does not mean blind faith, naivety, or ignoring red flags. It means believing in his intentions, respecting his decisions, and giving him space to demonstrate reliability and care without the pressure of proving himself at every moment. Many women unintentionally diminish attraction by testing men through subtle games, hypothetical scenarios, or repeated questioning, thinking that this ensures honesty, loyalty, or commitment, when in reality it often triggers defensiveness, frustration, and emotional distance. Men are wired to feel proud and fulfilled when their partner respects their judgment and trusts their actions. And when a woman expresses genuine confidence in him, it communicates that she sees him as capable, responsible, and worthy of emotional investment. Trusting him allows him to step into his role without feeling micromanaged or doubted, and it transforms the dynamic from one of obligation or scrutiny to one of collaboration and mutual respect. Simple behaviors like accepting his word when he communicates plans, showing confidence in his decisions without constant correction, and giving him space to navigate challenges on his own, send powerful messages of belief and respect that amplify attraction. Conversely, constant testing, asking questions like, "Do you really care?" or setting up situations to gauge loyalty creates tension and signals insecurity, which subconsciously makes men pull away because it feels like emotional policing rather than partnership. Trust is also closely tied to freedom and autonomy. When a man senses that his partner trusts him, he experiences a sense of liberation to act authentically, take initiative, and show commitment voluntarily rather than under pressure. This kind of confidence in him does not require grand gestures or verbal affirmations. It can be expressed through consistent behavior, calm reassurance, and the absence of unnecessary control, which demonstrates that you respect his ability to handle situations and make thoughtful choices. Men are drawn to women who treat them as allies and co-creators rather than as projects to manage or individuals to constantly test, because this fosters a natural desire to rise to the occasion, to show up, and to invest emotionally without feeling coerced. Trust also nurtures intimacy and vulnerability. When he feels trusted, he is more likely to open up, share his thoughts and feelings, and reveal his authentic self, which strengthens connection and deepens emotional attachment. A relationship grounded in trust reduces anxiety, minimizes power struggles, and encourages both partners to engage fully without fear of judgment or unnecessary scrutiny, creating a magnetic and stable dynamic that naturally draws him closer. Over time, when a woman consistently demonstrates trust, she creates a feedback loop where his behavior aligns with the confidence she places in him, reinforcing his sense of responsibility and desire to be worthy of her faith. This is not about passivity or ignoring issues. It is about discerning where effort, belief, and patience will yield attraction and engagement versus where doubt and testing only create distance. By choosing to trust rather than test, a woman communicates respect, confidence, and emotional intelligence, which signals to a man that she values him not for what she can extract from him, but for who he is and what he naturally brings to the relationship. This subtle yet profound approach cultivates loyalty, admiration, and genuine desire, because men instinctively respond to a partner who trusts them, allows them to act freely, and invites them to invest without fear of constant evaluation or manipulation. Trusting him consistently and thoughtfully becomes one of the most powerful ways to deepen attraction and create a relationship where he feels seen, respected, and motivated to engage fully, emotionally, and sustainably. Men are profoundly influenced by the way a woman establishes and maintains her boundaries, and one of the most magnetic qualities a woman can embody is the ability to stand firm on what she will and will not accept, because boundaries communicate self-respect, clarity, and emotional strength in a way that words alone cannot. Boundaries are not about being rigid, cold, or unapproachable. They are about defining your personal standards, limits, and values, and acting consistently to protect them, which signals to a man that you are whole, self-sufficient, and not dependent on his approval or compliance to validate your worth. Many women unintentionally erode attraction by bending too easily, allowing disrespect, inconsistency, or emotional manipulation to slide, often out of fear of conflict or a desire to keep the peace. And while this may create short-term harmony, it ultimately reduces desire and fosters imbalance, because men instinctively respond to women who challenge them to respect and value themselves. When a woman clearly communicates her needs, enforces her limits, and does not compromise her sense of self for temporary comfort or attention, she creates a magnetic tension that draws men in, because they sense that her attention, affection, and presence are consciously given rather than assumed or freely available, making them feel lucky to earn it rather than entitled to it. Standing firm on boundaries also reinforces emotional safety and trust within the relationship, because a man learns that he cannot manipulate, push, or take advantage of you without consequences. which paradoxically increases his desire to invest and engage authentically. Boundaries are expressed through actions as much as words, choosing when to engage or disengage, asserting preferences with calm confidence, and walking away from situations or behaviors that violate your standards without guilt or excessive explanation. This approach challenges men in a healthy way, requiring them to meet you with respect, attentiveness, and effort, rather than taking your presence for granted, and it encourages a dynamic of mutual regard rather than codependence or habitual compliance. It also cultivates a sense of polarity in attraction, the combination of warmth, interest, and engagement on your terms, alongside a clear refusal to tolerate disrespect or inconsistency, creates a dynamic that is both magnetic and sustaining, because it honors both partners' autonomy and integrity. Many women struggle with boundaries because society often frames them as selfish or aggressive, yet men instinctively recognize and respect a partner who knows her value, communicates it clearly, and does not waver under pressure because it signals inner strength and emotional intelligence, qualities that are fundamentally attractive and reassuring. Maintaining boundaries is not about punishing a man for mistakes. It is about demonstrating that you are emotionally grounded, self-respecting, and intentional in your choices, which makes every moment of connection feel earned, valued, and meaningful. Over time, standing firm on boundaries reshapes the dynamic of the relationship as he learns to approach you with care, attentiveness, and deliberate engagement, aligning his behavior with the respect and appreciation you naturally command. It also prevents resentment, burnout, and emotional compromise because you are not constantly sacrificing your standards to maintain connection, which fosters long-term attraction and mutual investment. By consistently enforcing your boundaries with confidence, clarity, and calmness, you create an environment where he experiences you as a woman of integrity, magnetism, and self-possession, someone whose love, attention, and intimacy are both precious and inspiring, and this, more than anything, solidifies deep respect, emotional commitment, and enduring desire in a man, because he knows that in order to be with you fully, he must rise to the standard you set, which ultimately brings out the best in him, while reinforcing your self-worth and the vitality of the relationship itself. When it comes down to it, men are not drawn to perfection, games, or constant compliance. They are drawn to authenticity, respect, and the subtle dance of challenge and connection. By respecting his autonomy, valuing his efforts, maintaining a sense of mystery, showing emotional strength, trusting him, and standing firm on your boundaries, you create a dynamic that is magnetic, irresistible, and deeply sustaining. These are not tricks or manipulations. They are ways of communicating that you are a woman of confidence, self-respect, and presence, and men instinctively respond to that energy. Attraction is never about forcing someone to love you. It's about becoming someone whose presence naturally inspires desire, admiration, and commitment. When you embody these principles, you shift the relationship from obligation to choice, from routine to excitement, and from uncertainty to stability. And in doing so, you not only enhance the connection you share, but also honor yourself in the process. True attraction is born from respect, authenticity, and emotional clarity. And when you bring these qualities into the relationship, you create a bond that is both powerful and enduring, a bond where love, desire, and mutual appreciation flourish effortlessly.